Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody and today we are going to be bullet journaling for February 2025. I feel like I can't talk today, so this should be interesting. Let's light this candle and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is show you guys quickly my January spreads. There's only 2 of them. I don't love them at all. I feel like they're pretty subpar, but I just didn't really have time to do January in between like all my yearly spreads and February, so I just did them really quickly and it was like coffee cup themed. Anyway, moving on to February. As you can see from the title of this video, the theme for this month is going to be love potion. I'm really excited for this theme. I love a good love potion, love spell moment. I think it reminds me of Halloween, which is one of my favorite times of the year, so I just felt like this kind of brought that magical feeling to the month of February, so that is why I've chose this theme this month. And I'm currently working on outlining this sketch I have on the left side of the page. I feel like my voice is just not showing up today. I decided to do this voiceover first thing in the morning and my voice has not woken up. Okay, I apologize. So anyway, I am outlining that sketch, which I did spend a good amount of time on off camera. I might later pop up some reference photos I used to sketch that picture later. Right now I'm working on the calligraphy on the right side of the page, the title February. In the description box below, I will include the title name of this font so that you can go and find it if you want to find it, because it is a really cute font. I will say it is perfect for this theme, so I will include that in the description box. Continuing on with the right side of the page, I am putting some cursive down below, read, listened, or both. And this side of the page is kind of the month at a glance. As you can see, I'm filling out little boxes for each day of the month. I do this every month. I get into a habit of things I like to do and I just stick to it because less work for me if I just do the same thing over and over again. So we're going back to the potion jar on the left side of the page. I will be continuing to just outline what I've already sketched out in pencil with some of my art pens. And just for your guys' benefit, I will put on screen some of the reference photos that I did refer to in drawing this image, because I didn't like make it all up on my own. I did reference other people's work, and you know, I've never drawn a potion jar before, so like obviously I needed some help, and you will see that there are images that have heavily inspired this drawing, but I did take steps to make it my own, and it's not such a big deal because it is my personal bullet journal, but I just wanted like to be transparent because I think as an artist or as anybody who wants to draw, it can be really intimidating if you don't even know where to start, and I just encourage everybody to use references as needed because it's better to draw heavily using references than it is to just not draw at all. So, moving on. We are to the fun part, which is coloring this in like a coloring book. That is probably the most fun part, is when the outline is finally done and it does kind of feel like a coloring book after that step is done. And I'm using my alcohol-based markers. Though it is fun, it can be intimidating because these markers are not very forgiving if you make a mistake, and you know, you can make or break an illustration based on the colors you use. But I do think I did a pretty good job with this particular image. On this label part, coloring it in purple, I really like that I kind of darkened the edging and blended it in with the lighter purple towards the center. It's subtle, but I really like it. In my opinion, I think the label is the easiest part of this illustration, but you know, take that with a grain of salt because there is a lot of lettering on the label, and Lettering isn't easy, especially for beginners. I think I've just had so much practice at it that at this point lettering has become simple. But I remember a time when drawing letters was the scariest thing. So take that with a grain of salt. But to me, the hardest part of this illustration was making the potion jar look like a glass jar. And I think I did a decent job achieving that illusion. And I think it's mostly due to highlights and strategic line placement. I find that intentional gestural line work can really help. And what I mean by that is not going overkill with lines and outlines, especially when something is supposed to be glass and have a transparent quality. You don't want to overkill it with any outlining. And also, I was very intentional not to bring the red liquid all the way to the edge of the illustration. I left the gap of where the glass would be, kept that part gray, to indicate, just the presence of the glass holding the red liquid. And I also tinted the gray a little bit with a light pink marker because the red liquid would illuminate the glass a little bit and tinge it pink. So I did do that detail. I know it's probably hard to tell, but I did do that. Little things like that make a big difference. Anyway, we have to move on. We're going on to the next spread. This is my book's red spread. I hate saying that title every video, and the more I say the word spread, the more I'm convinced it's not a real word. You know what I mean? When you say a word over and over again and it just sounds stupider the more you say it. I hate that word. I hate the word spread. Okay, moving on. I am illustrating 4 more potion jars on this page and filling them all with a different colored liquid. And I will be taking those same ideas and techniques that I did with that first potion jar, and I will be applying them to these as well. And here in the center, I'm coloring in this massive heart with the scalloped edge. And I did a cutout moment here where I cut out that scalloped edge. It did take a lot of time, and I just did that off camera because I didn't really want to film all that book turning, and it was just a little bit of a hassle to cut out that scalloped edge. But I did want to do that cutout just to give myself a little bit more space. When I read books this month, I will put a little summary and my rating of those books either within the potion jars or on this heart, probably one on each half of the heart. So by doing this little flip, the little cutout, I give myself 2 extra spaces to put book summaries, and I want a total of 8 because that is my goal throughout the month, is to read at least 8 books. So by putting that little flap in there, that gives me 8 spots to put a little book summary. And please, for the love of all things good, ignore the damn flies, okay? They will not leave me alone. They're disgusting. I hate them. We ignore them. So again, you see here I'm being intentional with my line work. I'm not overkilling it. I'm not over outlining these jars. I still want a translucent quality to them. And I do go back in with the markers and try to darken the top of the liquid where, it would equal out at the top of the jar. Some of the colors of the markers lended to that illusion better than others, but I did try to include where the top of the liquid would sit. I don't know if that makes any sense. I am trying. And then I go in with the gray, and I am using a really light gray and one that's just a touch darker, and blending those colors in. And these jars all have little cork stoppers, so I do find a tan marker and a little bit of a darker brown marker for those corks. Oh my god, those flies. I tried, I don't notice them back there. They ruined the whole video. Anyway, I do love these jars. I love that I decided to do each one a different shape and fill them with a different colored liquid. It just reminds me of an apothecary shop with shelves full of potion jars that are all different shapes and sizes and colors for all different things. So that's kind of why I wanted each one to be a little bit different than the next. And I did try to keep the color scheme of this month within reds, pinks, and purples with a pop of gold. I tried not to overdo it with too many colors, as that would just overwhelm everything. So I did keep it within that color scheme, and you can see on the left side of the screen the markers that I used throughout this video. I am just continuing to finish this scalloped heart. I love a scalloped heart for Valentine's Day. I think it's so cute. So I'm going to finish up with this heart, but then, as you see, we're going to go backwards, which usually if I go back to something, I usually don't include that. I'll just pretend like I did it all at once, but today we're going backwards. I thought that this page was boring. Not boring, but like empty feeling. And I went back and forth on like what I should do to fill all the empty white space, because I just feel like it needed something. So I put these little action lines. I wanted to kind of give the effect that maybe this is glowing. So I put in these light gray lines that are shooting outward from the potion to maybe give the effect that this potion would be glowing. And then I put all these sparkles and glimmers around it, these little stars, because if this was a magic potion, it would glow and it would shimmer and it would sparkle. And do I love it? No. I think I may have made it a bit too busy. I did use metallic sparkly gel pens in pink and purple for those stars. And I also went in with my gold metallic gel pen and outlined the potion label and added little bits of gold to it as well. And I don't hate it. I don't. But I do think I could have done something a little bit better. Maybe toned it down a little bit. I think I might have made it a bit too busy. But it is what it is. I don't hate it. And now I'm going in with a white gel pen and adding back in some more highlights that really help when you are trying to create something that looks like glass. So that wraps up that spread for real this time, and now we're going back to the book's red page, and I'm just doing some calligraphy there at the top using that same font from the first page. And while we're doing this and wrapping this up, I just wanted to say that another inspiration for this theme this month is that in October for my small business and pottery, I do a lot of potion label mugs, is what I call them, for Halloween time, and they're one of my favorite things to do. And if I have time this year, I would love to do love potion mugs as well. And that has just been on my mind and definitely inspired this theme this month. I thought that if I do my bullet journal love potion themed, then I would be more inspired to make pottery that is love potion themed. So I'm going to pop up on screen some of my past potion label mugs so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I just love making potion labels and things like that. So this is very on theme for me. Just wanted to say that. And now we're moving on to my last spread of the month. For this final spread, we are doing one more potion jar, and this one is an even more different shape than the other ones. And I thought it'd be really fun to do a potion jar that is spilling its contents all over the page. And I really do like this illustration. I think it's really fun, and I love how the potion liquid is spreading from one page into the other. I just love when an illustration kind of spans, hello buddy, it kind of spans the whole spread. So yeah, I just really love that, and I love that there's just like a little bit left in the bottle, but most of it has spilled out. And then I wanted this potion to kind of be bubbling, like as if it was spilled and it started to steam and kind of bubble up into the atmosphere. I think that is such a cute idea. So that is what I'm doing. I'm making a whole bunch of pink bubbles, and there's going to be one giant bubble here at the center, and this is where I'm going to put my favorite read of the month. I love highlighting whatever book was my favorite of the month, and so I'm either going to post like a picture of the book or just write the title and the author in this bigger bubble here. And this is going to be my favorite book of the month page on the right side there. And I'm just outlining that spilled area, and I will go in with some white highlights on both the bubbles and the liquid just to give it more of a liquid look. And I just feel like those little white accents just really finish and polish everything off. And the left side of the page is going to be really boring. It's just going to be a little calendar of the month. I wasn't really sure what to do here, but I decided to put in a little calendar just to help me keep things in line. I am still kind of working out what I want to include in my bullet journal, but I just decided that a calendar would be helpful. So we put one there, and that really wraps up that page, and we are on to the final flip through. I really love how the title page turned out. All that extra time and effort into my potion for true love, I think was really worth it. It turned out so great. Again, the added sparkles on that page might have been a bit too much, but I do like it better than it being blank. So overall, I am super happy with this page, and I can't wait to use it this month. As you can see, I also went back and added a few sparkles to this page as well because, again, I felt like there was too much white space. So I added some sparkles as well, not as many, and a little bit smaller, and I think I like it a lot better on this page. And a little bit of gold detailing to the scallop. Perfection. I think this page is so stinking cute. It should come as no surprise at this point, but there were also some sparkles added to this page. It's kind of like a drug. Once you start, you can't really stop, or at least it's very hard to. So I did add a little bit of sparkle to this page as well with my glittery gel pens. I just love any excuse to use a glittery gel pen. And I added a splash of washi tape to conclude that spread. And that, guys, wraps up today's video. That concludes my love potion theme for February 2025. Thank you guys so much for being here. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I hope to see you in the next one.